My best friend stopped speaking to me for absolutely no reason. Well, not one that they told me anyway. And honestly, it was worse than an actual heartbreak. It's taken a minute, but what this video is going to show you is what I did to move on and how I managed to get closure without actually having a conversation with anybody. So, if you're experiencing a friendship breakup right now, I feel you and I'm here for you. If you have in the past, you'll know exactly how I'm feeling right now. But let's get into it. So, I had a friend who I was really, really close to for about 5 years. He was my absolute best friend. I thought we would be friends and in each other's lives for a really long time. I felt like I was an important part of his life, and he was certainly an important part of mine. And honestly, I do still really miss him. And I miss the friendship that we had. And I miss having that close personal connection with somebody that you can only have when you're really, really close friends, where you know each other's thoughts, you know each other's triggers, your nervous system feels relaxed when you're together. All the joys of friendship. And we definitely had that. We have traveled the world together, been to some amazing places, had some amazing experiences together. This was a friendship that I made in adulthood in my early 30s. And it was one that I was investing in because I genuinely felt that it would be long lasting and endure the trials of life. However, one day this person just stopped talking to me and I just was no longer part of their life and was no longer a priority to them. They were no longer interested in me. They were no longer interested in what was going on with me. It felt like they didn't care about me anymore. And there was just never a conversation around what happened or if I'd done something to upset them or if they just didn't like me anymore. There was just never that closure. So it's taken me quite a long time because initially this felt worse than a heartbreak. This felt to my core. It felt like it had taken the person that I trusted the most in my life and I thought cared about me really, really deeply. And they just didn't exist anymore. They just weren't there anymore. They were just gone. And that void creates a level of grief around it. While it's weird having to grieve somebody whilst they're still living, they're still out there having a life, and you know that they're out there, but you still have to grieve the friendship and the void and emptiness that it creates in that part of your life that they held, that part of your heart that they held. So there were a lot of things that I did once I got over the initial shock of just being removed from their life. And it took me a really long time to stop ruminating on what I had done. Had I said something wrong? And then I just had to have a word with myself and be like, this is something that I am never going to know. And I either can make peace with the fact I'm never going to know, or I can drive myself insane trying to rationalize what has happened so I can try and make it better. This is a person that no longer wants me in their life, so there's nothing I can do to make it better, even if I do get clarity on that. So after the initial upset and generally feeling hurt, obviously this is not a tip on how to get over it. Just this is for anything in life. You have to feel the feeling to completion. You have to feel the emotion in your body in a way that it can process through your body, which doesn't feel nice and it's going to be uncomfortable. But what I'm talking about today is after you've gone through that initial shock and upset, what I did then to move forward in my life. So the first thing I did was what I call aspecting, which is this process that you do, which allows you to get closure from the person without actually ever having a conversation with them. So it goes like this. You get two cushions, or you sit on one side of your sofa and have a cushion representing that person on the other. Then you're going to find a quiet time when no one else is in the house or your apartment, when you just express to the representation of this person's energy how you feel about the situation, your frustrations, your upset, the misunderstanding, the hurt that it's felt for you, and the confusion that you felt around this. So you're just going to sit and take as long as it takes and completely unfiltered say how you feel about the situation. Ask the questions. cry, shout, be frustrated, however you want to be. No one's watching you, no one's listening to you. So just speak to essentially the cushion or the couch cushion that represents your former friend. Once you've got all of that out of you, you're then just going to shake it off for a moment and you're going to go and sit in the space that they represent. And you're going to take a breath and a minute and sit into their energy and feel how it feels for them to receive what you've just said. And you can start to get a hint of what these people were feeling. Maybe it's a sense of shame. Maybe it's a sense that they don't feel they're good enough and they can't accept the love you wanted to give them in the friendship. Things like that. You'll start to get a feel and some insight into what this is. And what you're going to do is you're going to speak for them. So whatever comes up when you're sat in their energetic space, you are just going to speak back to the space that represented you. And let that go on as long and as unfiltered as you need it to. Then you're going to move back to your space where you sat at the beginning and turn to the space that represents your former friend. And from here, you're going to thank them for their honesty. You're going to thank them for the nice memories that you made. And you're going to tell them that you're going to let them go into the world, let the friendship go into the world, and you're going to move forward with closure on the situation, and it's no longer tied to you anymore. And that seals the end of the aspecting practice. And it's really, really powerful for being able to have a conversation with somebody that simply won't talk to you, but it gives you the opportunity to honor how you feel. It allows you to get some perspective on how they may be feeling. And then it allows you to create closure in a way that allows you to move forward and let that friendship go. It will still hurt, but it will hurt less. And eventually, what was an open wound from the heartbreak of it will just be a scar that sometimes occasionally gets rubbed up on in life. You're reminded of it, but it doesn't hurt anymore. And this practice takes the sting out and allows you to get some closure. So the next thing I did after the aspecting, and I did do them in this order, is I did a lot of work on moving from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. It's really easy when someone rejects you and rejects your friendship for no apparent reason, that it can feel like it's you that's a problem, that no one likes you, that you don't have any friends, that you'll never meet somebody that you'll have that sort of like close, amiable connection with, that you'll never have that depth of friendship. And the truth is that you will, in all honesty, you will find that again. You will find more friends. You probably already have friends like that in your life, but because of your mindset, you think that you will never find that again, that no one will ever want to be your friend. And it's just not true. I'm telling you that categorically now without even meeting you. It is not true. What is true is that you do have friends. You are also able to cultivate depth in friendship. That is something you can actively choose to do. You actually now have more space in your life because that person has been removed to cultivate those friendships, to meet new people, to create depth, to create intimacy in friendships. That's something you can do, but it has to start with a mindset shift. And you have to consciously choose to move from a scarcity mindset to an abundant mindset and take stock of your life. Take stock of your friendships and look through your messages and see who's asking you to do things, asking how you are. Look at everything and objectively look and be like, actually, these people do care. These people are my friend. And I can reach out to them and I can cultivate a deeper relationship with them. But you have to take the step that means that you have to be really honest with yourself about where your mindset's at, and you have to get out of that hole of depression and feeling sorry for yourself to take stock of actually how much you already have in your life and how much amazing connection you do have in your life. So that's the second thing that I would do. Now, moving on to the third section, it's a little bit more left field, but it works on your subconscious mind. So we've had the closure through the aspecting. We have changed our mindset, but that's not always that easy just by taking stock of life. So what I actually did was I used subliminal affirmations, which are essentially affirmations that are inaudible to the awake ear and brain, the conscious brain, and it bypasses that and goes into the subconscious brain. And I actually have another video on this where I utilize subliminals for other reasons. And what I did with those is I created my own subliminals that essentially were all around affirmations that encourage connection, friendships, new friendships, being open to meeting new people, being open to deepening friendships. And I played them pretty much for about 6 months every single day. And I have become that person. I am the person that is magnetic and brings in new connections. I am the person that has deliberately cultivated deeper relationships with the people that feel good to me. And also, most importantly, I have retrained my confidence to feel that actually it's okay to be friends with people. And if they decide not to be friends with me again, that's okay. Because what the subliminals have done is rewired my subconscious to be so confident and so self-sourced that the friendships are an addition to my life, but they're not a representation of how I feel about myself. And as a result, the behavior is from them that I allow friendships to come and go as they please, and I cultivate the connections that feel good, and hopefully they're reciprocated. But if they're not, that doesn't impact on how I feel about myself. It doesn't impact my worth, because I know that I have a lot of friends. I know that I can deepen the connections where I want to, and I also know that I have it in me to attract new people into my life. So that is a key part in terms of just actually changing your neural pathways. And what happens is, in terms of the old friendship, is that you remember it and you remember the good things and you remember the bad things. But what you don't need anymore is the closure from it. What you also don't need is the validation you got from it, that somebody liked you and that somebody cared about you, because actually you care about yourself now. You like yourself now, and you know that you are worthy of really deep, beautiful connections in your life, regardless of whether that person liked you or not in the end. So I know it's hard. If you're in the midst of a friendship breakup right now, I feel you and I know how painful it can be. But this video is here to promise you that it can get better, that there are tools that you can use to move past it. And it's okay to feel like you're grieving something, because you are, but also you need to move through it, which you will. And you will get to the other side and you will see how many friends you have, how many deep connections you have. You will create a really beautiful, rich, full life with the people that you know, and also people that you don't even know yet. So hopefully this has given you a message of hope. It's given you some tools to use to move through the grief of a friendship breakup, and it's given you some confidence that you can move through how you feel right now. If you'd enjoyed this video, I would love it if you could drop a note into the comments section, and even subscribe for more videos like this, because I talk about all of this sort of stuff. But until then, I will see you in the next one.